She spent hours in the bathroom. Then I found the text she was sending to another man. It started like any other weekend morning. I was lounging on the couch, scrolling through my phone, waiting for her to get ready so we could head out for breakfast. We didn't have any major plans, just a quiet Saturday. I wasn't in a rush, but I noticed the clock ticking. She'd been in the bathroom for almost an hour, which was unusual. Normally, she was in and out in 20 minutes. Maybe a little longer if she was doing her hair or skincare routine. But an hour? It felt like something was off. I tried to shake off the feeling, but there was this nagging itch in the back of my mind. I knocked on the door softly. "Hey, everything okay in there?" I heard a rustling sound, followed by the unmistakable click of her phone screen locking. My stomach dropped. I didn't say anything else, just turned away from the door, trying not to draw attention to the fact that something had shifted between us. But I couldn't ignore it. For the past few weeks, I'd been feeling this subtle distance between us, like she wasn't fully here when she was with me. I kept thinking it was stress, work, life piling up on her, but the longer she stayed in that bathroom, the more I felt something else bubbling beneath the surface. When she finally came out, she looked perfectly fine, smiling as if nothing was out of the ordinary. She kissed me on the cheek as she passed by, her hair freshly styled, a soft floral perfume lingering in the air. But there was a tightness around her eyes, like she was trying to pretend she wasn't hiding something. "Sorry, I just needed a little more time," she said, adjusting her shirt. "Let's go, I'm starving." I nodded, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I was trying to stay calm, try to convince myself I was just being paranoid, but the nagging feeling wouldn't go away. We went to breakfast like we planned, but the whole time, I couldn't stop thinking about the bathroom. What had she been doing in there for so long? Why had I heard the screen lock? It felt wrong, like there was something she didn't want me to see. Maybe I was overthinking it, but I couldn't help myself. Later that night, after we got home and settled in, I decided to grab a few things from the bathroom, my mind still on her strange behavior earlier. She was in the kitchen making coffee, so I thought I had a few minutes to grab what I needed. As I opened the bathroom door, my eyes immediately fell on the phone she'd left on the counter next to the sink. I don't know why, but something compelled me to pick it up. I knew it was wrong. I knew I shouldn't be snooping. But in that moment, I wasn't thinking clearly. The anxiety in my chest was eating at me, telling me that something was about to come crashing down, and if I didn't find out what it was, I might lose my mind. So I picked up her phone. I unlocked it. The passcode was the same as it always had been. I didn't even hesitate before I went straight to her messages. I don't know what I was expecting to find, but I wasn't prepared for what I saw. There, in the most recent conversation, was a string of texts between her and someone I didn't recognize. It was intimate, playful banter, flirtatious words, and the kind of personal exchanges I thought we shared. The last message had been sent just a few hours ago, right before she came out of the bathroom. I miss you already. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Winky face. Don't be too mad at me for not texting back earlier. Don't worry, babe. I'll forgive you this time. But only because I can't stay mad at you for long. Winky face. Come over later, okay? I felt the room spin, my hands shaking. I couldn't breathe. The words felt like a punch to the gut. What the hell was this? The nagging feeling that had been building up all day suddenly became a full-blown wave of panic. I stared at the screen, reading the messages over and over, as if I could somehow will them to disappear. But they didn't. I set the phone down on the counter, my heart pounding in my chest. I felt like I was choking on my own breath. Was she seeing someone else? Was she cheating on me? Every scenario ran through my mind, each more terrifying than the last. I had to confront her. I had to know what this was about, but my legs felt like they were made of lead. I didn't know if I was ready for the truth. I wasn't sure if I ever would be, but I couldn't avoid any longer. I heard her footsteps behind me, and before I could turn around, she was at my side. "What's wrong?" she asked, her voice light, casual, but I could hear the slight tremor in it. She knew something was wrong, too. I turned slowly, my hand still shaking, and looked at her. "Who's this?" I asked, holding up her phone, the screen still showing the text messages. Her face went pale. I could see the blood drain from her cheeks as she took a step back, as if she'd been caught in the middle of something she wasn't ready to face. I can explain, she stammered, her voice high-pitched now. I could tell she was trying to keep it together, but the panic in her eyes betrayed her. Explain what, Jenna? My voice was shaking now too, but I couldn't help it. Who is this guy? Why were you texting him like that? I swear, it's not what you think, she said quickly, her hands wringing together in front of her. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I was just trying to figure some stuff out. He's a friend, okay? Just a friend. She was lying. I could see it in her face. I shook my head, unable to speak for a moment. My mind was racing, trying to process what she was saying, trying to make sense of it all. Just a friend? Then why were you talking to him like that? Like that? She opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came out. She was searching for the right words, the right excuse, but I knew it was too late for that. The truth was staring me in the face. Who was he, Jenna? I pressed again, my voice barely above a whisper now. How long has this been going on? She looked away, her lips trembling as she struggled to form a sentence. But I didn't need her to answer anymore. I already knew the answer. I stepped back, letting the space between us grow. My chest ached with every breath. I don't even know who you are anymore, I whispered, the words cutting through the air like glass. She took a step toward me, but I held up my hand. No, I can't do this. I can't be with someone who lies to me like this. I can't trust you. I turned and walked out of the room, the weight of the phone in my hand dragging me down like an anchor. I couldn't think. I couldn't breathe. I had to get out of there before I lost it completely. But the thing that stuck with me, long after I left and didn't know where to go, was that I had no idea how long this had been going on. The thought of all those moments, those conversations that I had no idea about, made my skin crawl. How had I not seen it sooner? Part 2. I spent the next few hours walking aimlessly. I didn't know where I was going, but I needed to be away from her, away from the house, away from the suffocating reality that I was living in a lie. Every step felt like it was carrying me further from the life I thought I had. My mind kept going back to the texts. I miss you already. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. How long had this been going on? Was it weeks? Months? Or was it something that had started after we'd gotten comfortable, when I stopped paying attention to the little things? I wasn't angry. Not at first, anyway. I was numb. Just numb, like my whole body was frozen, suspended in disbelief. How could she do this to me? I thought about all the times we'd laughed together, the quiet evenings we'd spent watching TV, cooking dinner, the plans we'd made. How long had she been thinking about him while she was with me? It made my stomach turn. By the time I found myself sitting on a bench in the park a few blocks away from the apartment, the adrenaline had worn off. I could finally breathe again, but it felt like I had a hole in my chest where something vital had once been. My phone buzzed in my pocket. It was a text from Jenna. Jenna, can we talk? Please, I need to explain. Please don't do anything rash. I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over the keys. What was there to explain? She'd already said it all in the messages. But I knew if I didn't hear her side, if I didn't at least let her try to justify it, I'd always wonder. The last thing I wanted was to be left with a nagging feeling that I didn't know the whole truth. Me, where are you? I didn't get an immediate response. I wasn't sure why I even bothered, but part of me wanted some closure, even if I wasn't sure I could stomach it. The thing was, I didn't know what I wanted from her anymore. What was there to salvage? A few minutes later, she texted back. Jenna, I'm at home. Please just come back. I don't want you to leave like this. I didn't reply. Instead, I stood up from the bench and started walking back. Every step felt heavy, like I was dragging my feet through wet cement. Part of me didn't want to face her. I didn't want to hear her excuses or whatever explanation she had cooked up. But the other part of me, the part that still loved her, even through the betrayal, was screaming at me to give her a chance to explain. I don't know why. Maybe I wasn't ready to let go yet. Maybe I was just trying to hold on to whatever we used to be. When I got back to the apartment, the door was slightly ajar. Jenna was sitting on the couch, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her before. Her eyes were red, her face blotchy like she'd been crying. She looked broken, and for a split second, my heart softened. She stood up when she saw me, her eyes desperate. Please, just hear me out, okay? She pleaded, her voice shaking. I never meant for this to happen. I didn't plan any of this. I swear to God, I didn't. I crossed my arms, standing by the door, not sure what to do with my body. Then explain it to me, I said, trying to keep my voice steady, but it cracked at the end. I want to hear you explain it to me, because all I've seen are texts. I don't need any more excuses, just the truth. She nodded, wiping her eyes quickly, trying to compose herself. She took a shaky breath. I wasn't looking for this. I wasn't looking for him. It just happened. It just spiraled out of nowhere. I raised an eyebrow, stepping further into the room. How? How did it happen, Jenna? I don't understand. You were sending flirty messages to him. You were making plans. You told him you'd forgive him if he didn't text back fast enough. Do you know what that sounds like? I know, she whispered, her face crumpling with guilt. I never meant for it to get this far. It was just supposed to be harmless. It started with one message, then another, and before I knew it, I was invested. But it wasn't about him, not really. It was about me. She took another breath, her eyes filled with pain. I've been feeling so empty, like I wasn't enough. I don't know how to explain it. I was just looking for something to fill that gap, something to feel like I mattered. I stood there, trying to process what she was saying. She wasn't making excuses for the cheating, but the way she was describing it, it was almost like she was trying to make herself the victim. I wanted to be angry, but instead, I just felt sad. You weren't enough? You think texting someone else would fix that? I asked, my voice rising. What about me, Jenna? What about us? I know, she said, choking on the words. I know, but I've been so lost lately. I've felt so disconnected from everything, even from you. It wasn't about him being better. It was about me, not feeling like I was enough for you, or for myself, or for anyone. And she trailed off, looking down at the floor. I wasn't thinking. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, and I swear it won't happen again. I promise you. Her words were desperate, her hands reaching for mine, but I pulled away. I don't know if I can believe you anymore. Her face crumpled, and she dropped her hands to her sides. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'm begging you. Please, just give me a chance to fix this. Let me prove to you that I can be the woman you thought I was. I wanted to say something. I wanted to be strong, to tell her to leave, to tell her I couldn't trust her anymore. But my heart was telling me to give her a second chance, to try to believe her. Was it the right thing to do? I wasn't sure anymore. The truth was, I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I don't know, Jenna, I said, my voice breaking. I really don't know. She reached for me again, and this time, I let her take my hand. But even as she clung to me, I knew things were different now. Things would never be the same. I had to decide whether I could rebuild the trust we'd lost, or whether I had the strength to walk away. But for the first time in a long time, I wasn't sure who I was anymore.